defender to her. So Jordan had to get, in the lane to send it to overtime. She elected to make the big pull up and was really clutch. And, just great players making great plays when it's not exactly diagrammed that way.
David?
Hey, Coach. You've had a couple games this year that have been close like this, and just haven't been able to pull it off. You're able to today. As you mentioned, it's a game where you just really leaned on your leaders in NECA and JC. What was that kind of the difference there, or just what was different about this game? That you were able to hang on and pull out the win.
Yeah, I think there was a determination tonight, and we played to those guys. It was a tough night offensively to get our wings going. Lexi playing through tremendous amounts of pain, and she's giving us everything she's got, and our team admires her for that. Obviously without Carly tonight, so it wasn't a big wing night, so it was going to have to be our post game. It was going to have to be Jordan in a lot of actions, and they took us home.
Coach, speaking of the post game, you got a lot of production from not only NECA but Azare, who pitched in 15, and then the job you guys did on Boston there. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think we talked about that as much as anything in the locker room, giving Azare a big shout out. Probably, in my opinion, she was so tough throughout the game and played with a physicality that we haven't always seen all year. So I think, in a lot of ways, that was Azare's best game of the season. She battled and battled and battled. Season high in blocks, really battled. Boston made it as difficult as possible with her length, but it was her physicality that we haven't seen always that really came out. There was just a fight and determination that I loved out of Azare tonight. We recognized it in the locker room. Teammates certainly recognized what she was doing and trying to compete every possession with Aaliyah.
LT?
LT with TD Sports. From a coaching perspective, I know this is new territory for you to have so many starting lineups. So for you, what is it like for you to get this win tonight from a coaching point?
Yeah, it's been a minute, right? So, just happy for them, happy for them that they feel that, that in the locker room after the game, what it feels like after a win. It was one of my assistant coaches in first year in the league. It was her first scout. Everything, felt, so good for everybody involved to watch an assistant coach be happy with their scout and the team just be back in the win column. They've all read recently. We probably didn't even realize when it happening, but they've all been asked. They've all seen the losing streak. So that monkey's off their back, and we can continue to talk about what's really important for us is the foundation and the build and the culture. And I thought we took a step in the right direction tonight with our determination, our effort, energy. That Indiana team is creating that same culture. They play so hard. They've lost a ton of close games, but they can put themselves in position every night with how hard they play. And that's the culture, we're trying to create also.
Coach, everyone's going to talk about that JC3, and rightfully so, but there was one more play left that the game still could have went the other way. And you guys forced them into a tough 3-point shot in the closing seconds. What did you tell the team prior to that defensive stance?
Yeah, again, Chris Koklanis is our defensive coordinator, so he was in charge of that huddle. But the message was, if Aaliyah goes towards the rim, they're probably going to try to enter it directly into the post. If she stays on the perimeter, it's probably going to be a Kelsey Mitchell flare screen, ball screen handoff. And as they set up, you could see they were running one of their standard and typical sideline out of bounds plays that we had scouted. We had showed them on film before the game. So I thought we defended it as well as possible. We recognized the set. We saw what was coming. And, Jordan and Azare stayed in that play and made that difficult on Kelsey to get that last shot off.
Early in the fourth quarter, it seemed like you guys kind of got momentum shift when Leisha got those 2 deflections that led to turnovers. I'm just curious, how they've grown defensively in this new position and how much of a lift that was.
Well, I'm so happy to have her back. Leisha's got this fight about her. she's got a toughness about her. She's a physical defender. It doesn't matter if she's guarding point guards or wings. There's a physicality, there's a toughness about her, and she's very, very vocal. So it's a pleasure to have her back and playing with Leja again. And the same with Lexi, even though Lexi's far from 100%. It's just having starting wings back has been, a few more weapons, been a lot more fun. Now we just got to get Carly back.
Coach, congratulations on winning. Congratulations on breaking the losing streak. I'd like for you to assess your team's energy, effort, grit, determination, all those things we talked about pregame, specifically the trio of NECA, Jordan, and Azare, because I had them down for combining in this game for 65 points. And I'm not sure if you know, but in the first half, they actually had 39, and the Fever only had 38.
Yeah, it was our big three tonight. I mean, those three really carried us, but more importantly, they led by example with the energy and effort that we talked about that this game was going to come down to. We talked about paint and who was going to have a good night in the paint. Ironically, we won with a 3. It was going to be an energy game. They play with a tremendous tempo fight. And we needed to match it or exceed it. And that was the message. And those three obviously were productive stat wise, but they really led by example with how hard they played.
Hey, Coach, the Sparks have been playing a lot better in terms of 3-point shots. What can the fans expect to see in the second half of the season in terms of the 3-point percentage improvement? What's your strategy?
Yeah, well, again, take good ones and, have your great shooters shoot. Like when Carly's second in the league in 3-point shooting. She's just close to a 50, 40, 90 person right now. Jordan's having her career year at the Arc, but if you can get Lexi and Carly in space, they're tremendous shooters in this league. Jordan's making nearly 1 a game this season, and her best percentage by far. And our post players percentage is going to come around. NECA stepped up tonight. Azare is going to throw, throw some threes in too. She's comfortable out there. De'Erica's going to get her percentage back up. So it's just going to become more and more part of us. But again, take good threes. That's the message.
Last question, Imani.
Coach Imani right with Winston. Hi, congrats on the win. Congrats on making the streak that everyone said. For you, Jordan Canada had 10 assists tonight. Could you talk about her playmaking and how it contributed to the win?
Yeah, I thought she was, aggressive hunting for her own, but at the same time, when she felt congestion, she felt that people were coming to her and showing her a lot of attention. She was a willing passer. She found people inside. We had a really good first half in transition offenses, or what we would call early offenses. And she dominates the ball in the hand, with her dribble off of transition. So she creates that tempo. I just thought she shared it really well tonight.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Congrats, Coach.
There's anyone there?
Jesse, you want to do the last question first?
Jesse, you want one?
I appreciate it, Coach. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to talk about Azare's defense. She was put in a shift against Aaliyah tonight.
Yeah, I thought she really physically battled. We knew she was going to have some length and could the length bother Boston, but her physicality was what was really impressive. There was a fight from the tip with her, trying to make it as difficult as possible. And then at times we needed to bring doubles, and we sent bodies towards Aaliyah just to make, she's a very unselfish player, to see if she would give up the ball around the rim at times.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.